Buenas tardes a todos, bienvenidos. Para una mejor experiencia, les solicitamos por favor que mantengan sus micrófonos muteados. Todo el material que presentaremos puede ser utilizado para difusión y promoción. Muchas gracias y que disfruten del evento.
Hay sonidos que relajan. Hay sonidos que emocionan. Y hay sonidos que te invitan a ver los nuevos episodios de ¿Quién da más?
Muy bien, estamos en 300. ¿Quién dice un poco más?
Acompaña a estos expertos y diviértete.
No olviden pagarle a la dama, nos vemos en la oficina.
¿Quién da más? Nuevos episodios, martes, por History Channel.
Muy buenos días, gracias por acompañarnos en un evento más de History. Hoy, aquí ahora, tenemos el gran placer, la gran fortuna de presentar la temporada número 15, sí, la temporada número 15 de Storage Wars o Quién da más, como lo conocemos en América Latina y Brasil. Una de las cosas más importantes para nosotros es poder ver cómo esta serie, a pesar de 15 temporadas, sigue siendo una de las favoritas de todas las audiencias en América Latina. Y para ustedes vamos a compartir un video para recordar por qué esta temporada número 15 viene con todo.
Cuando los depósitos son abandonados,
¡Miren este!
los tesoros que contienen
Guantes nuevos.
son subastados.
Gané con esto.
¡Vendido!
Estoy en verde.
¡Dinero, nena!
Mucho dinero.
¿Están listos?
Aquí vamos. Puerta grande, esperemos que con grandes sorpresas.
Bien.
Bueno, se ve muy bien, me gusta.
Gabinetes antiguos, en realidad muy bonitos. Unos gabinetes muy bonitos. Esa jaula nunca están de más en mi casa.
¿Verdad?
Muchas cajas. Esta tiene muchas piezas de identidad, la verdad. Y misterios.
Una máquina de karaoke de los 90.
Oye, mira.
Te imagino cantando TLC con eso en la sala de estar, ¿no?
Oye, hay misterio en esas cajas. Veo
Sí.
unos palos de golf.
Te dije que hoy elegías tú, así que...
Me gusta.
¿Te gusta? Pues entonces cómpralo.
Atlas Mundial, máquina de karaoke, un depósito muy interesante. Les diré algo, Dusty no se llevará este como se llevó el otro por la manera como me ha estado tratando.
Un ahumador. Sí. Una jaula de perros para Lisa. Digo, no para ella. No quise decir eso. Miren un karaoke. Oh, tiene un modulador de voz. Y aquí otra silla bonita. También hay un columpio sexual para ti, Brandy. ¿Qué pasa contigo y los columpios sexuales?
No es el tipo de pieza de identidad que busco.
Bueno, tenemos un depósito que promete. ¿Cuánto están dispuestos
¡Vamos,
a pagar?
chicos!
¿Cuánto ofrecen? ¿Con cuánto empezamos? ¿Con 500? Muy bien, 550, 600, 650,
la
700
batalla de las
dólares. ¿Quién da
sombrillas.
más? ¿Quién da más? ¿Quién da 750 dólares? Vamos, 700.
Las gemelas sombrilla atacan de nuevo.
A la casa de otro depósito.
Sí.
Tengo 700 dólares, 750, 800, 850, 900, 950, 1000, 1050, 1100 dólares, 1150, 1200, 1250. Quiero 1300 dólares, 1300 a la
Aquí
una,
estamos.
1350, 1400, 1450, 1500 dólares,
uno más.
1550 dólares. Vamos, 1600. Quiero 1600 dólares.
Vamos, amigos.
Vamos. ¿Quién da más? ¿Quién da más? Vendido en 1550 dólares a Darrell.
Ni siquiera sabía que Darrell estaba ahí. Eres sigiloso.
Eso es lo que llamo impuestos en Oceanside.
¿Impuestos de Oceanside?
Cuando vienes a mi patio trasero tienes que pagar impuestos.
¿Es eso lo que te cobras a ti mismo?
Cállate, Dusty. Lo importante es que yo me quedé con el depósito y tú no.
Amigos, es el final de la subasta. No olviden pagarle a la dama. Los veré en la oficina.
Nos vemos en la oficina.
¿Quién da más? Por History Channel.
Recuerden que todo el material que tenemos en este evento lo pueden usar para fines promocionales o de PR, porque este evento es para ustedes. Una de las cosas más importantes de esta sesión en particular es que por primera vez desde el año 2011 que se lanzó esta serie en History, tenemos la oportunidad de hablar con los productores Jeff Boone Gardner y Roman Mikitin.
Hey,
Roman. So, guys, you are behind the success of this amazing series, and we all want to know what's the secret formula or ingredients that make this series so unique unsuccessful?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I'll start. Yeah, I guess I'll start. I think the secret formula for success with Storage Wars is the buyers and the auctioneers. They are out there every day doing it as their job, and we are there to follow them. We're there to find what they find, and then there to enhance it a little bit with comedy and stakes. Stakes being the competition between them. But truthfully, they are the stars of the show. The formula and the format of the show follows them, and they're just great characters and really great people. So it's been a blessing to do that for, oh my gosh, almost 15 years now. And Roman and I have been together almost all the way. Roman, do you want to say a few words?
Sure. For me, comedy has always been the funnest part. I love the transactional element of it on the treasure hunt and all that. We know people really gravitate towards that. But on the production side, the comedy is always the funnest. Finding funny moments and highlighting them, and that's what's great about the cast is they really leaned into that. I mean, they're all kind of more or less all kind of funny, crazy people anyway. So they make it easier for us because they always have something funny to say. But that's really that, and also trying to keep it fresh and bringing in new characters here and there, which helps because somebody like Brandy, who's been on the show since day one, it's hard to tell a story where Brandy is learning something new in a locker because she's seen almost everything on the show by now. But when you bring in a new character, they have to make their own mistakes and they have to learn all the ropes over again. So that's fun for us because we get to watch it through their eyes a little bit.
So we're talking about a character-driven series. We're talking about timing and good comedy. But we also know that one of the factors that attract so much attention and traction among the audience is, without a doubt, the surprise of what we are going to be able to find behind the door. Is going to be cash or is going to be trash? Therefore, I want you to tell me, each one of you, what was the most weird thing that you remember found in one of those stores, and what's the one that was making the most money that you remember? Let's start with you, Jeff.
Oh, great. Yeah, I would say there's been so many strange and weird things that we've seen inside storage units. I would have to go back far deep in the annals of Storage Wars history and say, for me, the beloved Barry Weiss, the collector, found these little tiny red glasses, and he, knowing a lot about a little, knew what they were. We didn't know what they were. He knew what they were, and they were glasses for chickens. They were red tinted, and they were chicken glasses, and you put them on chickens so they don't see red, and they see everything as red, and therefore, if something happens and a chicken gets hurt and there's blood, they don't react. And he went to a chicken place in a chicken car, a car with a chicken on top of it, eating chicken. And those are all Barry's ideas about what to do once he finds them. So that was the weirdest one for sure, in my view. Also, that he had to stop along the way and buy chicken. I thought that was pretty funny. And then most expensive, I mean, we all know it. For me, Roman has an encyclopedic knowledge, so I hope we can find another one. But for me, it's the classic when Daryl the gambler found art from a artist, a Chicano artist, Gutierrez. I'm forgetting his first name, Roman, but Frank Gutierrez. Thank you, Brady. And it was valued at $300,000 US. If you ask Daryl along the way, it kept going up. By the next season, Yeah. By the next season, it was almost 1 million. And then the season after that, yeah, it's now
Pretty
somewhere
much
in
2
the
million.
We
stratosphere.
all know,
Yeah.
we all know our Daryl. So what about you, Roman?
Oh, yeah, that Daryl find is the biggest find as far as I know. But the second probably is the video game locker that Renee found in season 9. He outbid everybody on a locker that was immense, and it was packed with classic video games. Somebody was either collecting or starting a store or something like that. And Renee sells a lot of video games in his store, and so he was like all over it, and he got it. And we went to unpack it, and normally when we unpack a locker, it maybe takes us, I don't know, 3 hours to go through it, depending. Sometimes it's shorter, sometimes longer. But that was an all-day affair. He brought a friend along, and those two guys. Oh, did I freeze? Sorry. Those two guys. They spent probably 6 hours unpacking all the stuff, and he couldn't get past it. It was probably
He make more than $50,000 without finding, right?
Yeah, it was around $50,000. Yeah. Yeah, and he still has some of those things. He hasn't sold some of them yet. I mean, he just had that many.
Yeah.
It was like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we see Renee here in Florida, so we are very familiar with another one of the characters as well.
Yeah.
So, as you can tell, we are very close to the cast, so that's a lot of fun. Now, I want to introduce to all the audience and the media partners that we have from Mexico, Colombia, Chile, Brazil, Peru, and Mexico. We're going to introduce the one and only Brandy.
Muy bien, si están listos, yo también lo estoy. Comenzamos.
$10. $10.
Tengo 10, 20, 30. ¿Qué hay de 40?
Yo.
40, vamos, muy bien, seguimos, $50, 60, 70, quiero $70, vamos, 80, quiero 80, ¿quién dice 80? Vamos, rápidamente, 80, 70 la una, 70 las dos y vendido el $70 a Brandy.
Es tuyo, Brandy.
$70 con este mercado. ¡Qué buena soy! Muy bien, creo que estas son fotos familiares. Hay unos carteles. No hay nada aquí. Si limpio esto, puedo conseguir unos $50. La mesa no está nada mal. Tiene unos rayones ahí, pero pueden quitarse si uso color nogal. Así que diría $40. Veamos. Este es un set de minigolf imperial. Una caja con las pelotas, miren esto. Parecen cosas de Holanda. No lo sé. Tal vez pueda obtener algo de dinero. Este es un set único. Creo que contactaré a alguien que pueda darme más información y ver si puedo obtener ganancias. Vine al centro de diversión familiar Mulligan para hablar con Mike sobre mi set de minigolf y vine con Kenny.
Lo que tenemos aquí son 2 sets antiguos de minigolf imperial. Tenemos 2 palos, 9 hoyos, la mitad de hoyos del minigolf tradicional. Por lo que veo, este set tiene todas las piezas.
Todo está intacto. En su paquete original, se ve en buen estado. ¿Cuánto dinero crees que pueda conseguir por los 2 sets?
Diría que con los 2 sets juntos, $200.
¡Oh!
Sí.
$200. Está bien.
Tú brindas el almuerzo.
El perdedor. El perdedor brinda el almuerzo.
No te lo pondré fácil. Te voy a enseñar. Mi mejor
Muy
golpe.
bien.
Ya verás.
Gracias. Oh.
Se acerca la hora del almuerzo. Sopa de mariscos.
¿Sopa de mariscos?
Ahí va. Vamos. ¡Cielos! ¡Oh! Agrega carne extra a la ensalada.
¿Quién da más? Por History Channel.
So, Brandy, I don't know if you know, but your fandom is all over the world, including Latin America and Brazil. And we would like to thank you for being part of the show, being part of history. And we want to know, when this opportunity for you arrived? How do you become part of the show? Did you knew this show will become such a big hit? Tell us about it.
No, I actually didn't really think it was going to go anywhere at all. I thought, I mean, this is what we do, but I didn't really think it was all that exciting. And I mean, it is interesting, but I honestly, I didn't see, I didn't foresee the future of this show at all. I really just thought, we are going to do this 6 episodes that we'd started to do in the very beginning, and I just assumed, that was going to be the end of it, and it was just an overnight success. And I really wasn't prepared for that. Mentally, I didn't really know how to handle that fame part. I had therapy, and it was interesting, but it's getting a little easier. As I go along, it's still a little awkward, but we appreciate every single moment of this. I can't believe that it's gone on as long as it has, and I'm just super grateful.
How do you become part of the cast?
My ex was at an auction, and they were doing sizzle reels, and took a video of him and then asked to come back to our store, and I was there, and they met me and asked if I'd like to be part of it, and so I did a video, and they chose us, and it was just all history from there.
But we are talking about that you and Daryl Chitz probably are the only ones who have been in the 15 seasons of the show. How do you feel about it?
That's also a phenomenon. I have no idea. I mean, I just try my best to, do my job, continue to be myself, and it's just, like I said, I just feel super blessed that it's gone on as long as it has.
And how you are handling your new life these days? We know that you're not only a famous TV star because of Storage Wars, but you also have a very strong following in social media. So how you handle fame?
I social media I take breaks from every once in a while. It gets a little overwhelming, but I try to put as much content on there as possible. I know people enjoy that, and it does. You can monetize from it, and that's also a blessing in itself. It's like I said, the fame part is always going to be a little awkward and uncomfortable, but I embrace it as much as I can, and I appreciate the fans, because we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for that. So again, just deal with it as it comes.
Well, now I have to make an awkward question. In some ways, we are also in Fit Finder, and not everybody knows that you are in Fit Finder. La podemos encontrar también en los pies más lindos de los Estados Unidos. So tell me, how do you feel about it? How's the reaction?
Well, this was really super uncomfortable for me for a long time, and they all say really, I mean, the feet thing is just like one kind of odd thing that they ask for or go after, and there's much more graphic content that they talk about or require. So I kind of just got to a point where I was like, they're already saying and doing God knows what disgusting thing about it. I might as well monetize on it. It's just feet, who cares?
Exactly.
So
tell me in few words what Storage Wars means to you and how much it changed your life.
It changed my life exponentially. I mean, it's night and day from what my life would be as opposed to what it is now. I mean, it'll never be normal per se. I will always have this presence that will never go away. It's in every country. It's something you can't really escape from. So you embrace it as much as you possibly can. I mean, it has been a blessing and a curse, I'd like to call it. It has been like just the most, I've been able to do the most wonderful things as a result of this. And it also became, a little hindering in certain things where, sometimes I can't go have dinner with my family and without somebody, intruding, my dinner. But, I get it. And I learned, this is just, they're not being rude. It's just that they're excited. And I appreciate that, on every level.
What do you love the most about this show?
You know what? I actually really enjoy the job. At first, it was really awkward, being on camera. I didn't really know what to do. But then you just kind of got used to it after, a couple of times, and it's like they're not there. And I enjoy working with the crew. I, have spent so much time with the cast at this point. It's hard not to be close to them, and it's been a wild ride. I enjoy it all. It's exhausting. It's a lot of driving. It's a lot of backbreaking work that nobody really gets. They think it's some get rich quick scheme or something, and it's so not. It's like moving day every day, and budgeting and trying to figure out how much is too much to spend, and then storing all of the stuff, and then figuring out how to sell it. And it's not easy. It's not an easy gig. I wouldn't say children, that's sure. I want them to do anything but this. But aside from that, being on the show it's been great. It's been a wonderful thing for me.
Thank you. Don't go away. Now we are going to call Laura and Don Dodson, the actioneers, and one of the most important parts of the show. Dan and Laura Dodson, as we call it, the money lady.
Hello.
Hello. How are you guys?
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Excited to be here.
We're fantastic, and we're so happy that Latin America is getting this next season. It's going to be great, and there's a lot of good finds, and it's just some great new characters that you're going to get to meet, and the families are all growing, and we're happy to be here.
Excited.
So tell us a little about this new season called Season 15. What we should be expecting?
Well, there's lots of characters that you might have seen a little bit of, but you're really going to see a lot more. You're going to see their finds, their love interests, their special quirks, and different things that I guess really help them through this challenging industry.
You're going to get to see Barry. Barry's coming back, and he's just the same guy. And we have some new buyers. We have Dusty and
Lupe.
his Lupe, his wife, and you get to meet them throughout this season, and their family's growing.
And exciting to see the buyers teaming up. Like, for instance, Brandy has so much information and so much knowledge about buying, and she's really able to adapt that I have noticed, for instance, Kenny and Lisa trying to get as much information and knowledge that they can from Brandy, and just kind of shadowing her, that it's really been really fun, because everybody is really getting into the game. They're having fun, they're buying things.
Cameron's in the show, right?
Yeah.
And her son Cameron's, you won't believe how much he's grown.
Everything.
Both of her kids are on the show.
And
Great.
Ivy's kids. So it's kind of like a generational thing. Our son pops in. He's been helping us out here, even on the backside. So maybe, if a new season comes out, you're going to see more of all the families and what they've done to expand. I believe they're buying interest in selling.
One of the things
And
that
we're
we
out there
love the most about these events is that we are able to get to know you closer and get to know your place, your home, a little more intimate. We're even going in places that we shouldn't be going every day. However, if I go through your home right now, what are the things that you kept from the show because you love them so much, Laura, that you couldn't get them away?
Well, for instance, Barry presented Danny and I with like an auctioneer award out of this very large, what the heck do you call it? Flask. The largest flask. As a matter of fact, I have it in my, this is my storage war collect all. Yeah.
I'll get it for you.
Please
And
share
I
with us
have
what you can
more
find over there.
So many wonderful things. I've got, Brandy's bobblehead in there. I've got little fun things that, like, for instance, remember, well, you're going to see it in this season, so I don't really want to give it away, but I was able to talk Lisa out of it. I said, I want that so bad. Before you put that online to sell it, it's just an incredible story, an incredible find, and I purchased it from her, so I've got it hidden in here, and some really cool things. But this was made for us and presented to us on the show, and this is from Barry, and this is something
Nice.
that I will never give away.
It's for sale, though.
No, it's not. Everything's for sale.
Speaking for sale, we have a little Brandy here, and this is a little Brandy bobblehead. And if you see her feet, you'll see that she's got some
Really cute little
feet
there.
down there. And so anyway, we have those things.
We have a really good time, and we love all of our casting characters and all the memories. It's just, it's been part of our life, like half of our marriage here. So
That long?
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Talking about long, what is the episode that you treasure the most for some kind of emotional connection or personal reason?
Wow.
It's a great question. I try to get them all out of my mind as fast as I can. And to be honest with you, after like 300 and how many shows? Like 40 or 80 or something? 300 and something, 60 or 80
or something like that.
A lot of them, they get pretty blurry. I mean, I it's always fun to see somebody win, and it was really fun to see Brandy come back, and with her, she's got
with her son, bringing her son in to help her and just giving her that support, and still being able to, manage buying, selling, being a mom, and all the transitions. I really love Brandy, and I love how she's really blossomed, and her children are just incredible. And to me, seeing family come in, like with Ivy and bringing his boys in, to me, that shows the whole, evolution of the show and how it's just coming, full
it's
term.
always growing.
Yeah.
Things are always growing.
Yeah. Yep. My son comes in and he saves the day. I forgot all the paperwork. And we're far away from home. We're up in Lancaster, and he shows up with my clipboard, all my paperwork to help me out. And so things like that, it's a really good feeling. Besides, when they make
it's almost 15 years we're talking about. It's 15 years we're talking about. It's a lot of time.
I want to find the fountain of youth in the unit.
I think you already did, Laura. You look exactly the same since the first episode. Now, everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know how Dan and Laura met.
At auction, of course.
I ordered her in a magazine. Ordered her magazine.
No, don't believe him. That's one way I.
Laura, tell us the story.
So I was used to be a restaurateur, and I was opening my first restaurant.
So like 93, right?
Yes, and I heard that there's these auctions that you can go buy restaurant equipment at. So I had looked and found and subscribed to this big flyer, and this flyer kept getting mailed to my house. And I ended up showing up at an auction once a year for 3 years straight.
She showed up at an auction, and I'm flirting with her, and then she leaves. And 1 year later, she comes back to the same type of auction.
Opening my second restaurant.
And I'm flirting, and I'm trying to get her attention, and she left. 1 year later, this is not a joke. It sounds like a bad joke. 1 year later, I guess in 96, right?
Yes.
She shows up at the third auction, the third year. And I just took a break, and I just went up and I blasted her.
I walked through the door. I was late for the sale, and I hear him talking about me, and I think he's talking about me. And he says, "Oh, if she comes in, she's this cutie blonde, and I want to get a date with her." And I walk in, he goes, "There she is." And I thought, "Oh my God, are they talking about me?" Oh boy, I'm gonna buy so much stuff again, and I'm gonna pay up the nose again. And this is what I thought, okay, every time I come, this guy's flirting with me, and I'm spending tens of thousands of dollars. So this time I was ready. I had my name on a business card because he's so busy up on the auction block. I didn't know how I was going to get to talk to him, especially I have to talk really fast. Hi, my name is Lauren. How are you?
Sort of attracted to each other.
It was energy through our eyes. I knew he was the one. And when he took a small break, jumped down off the auction block and was shoving a hot dog down his throat, he asked me out on a date, and it has been history ever since.
I wasn't actually shoving.
Who knew that Dan could be that shy? He went 3 years to ask you for a date.
Yes.
I go with the flow, man. I just go with how things feel normal, and if they feel right, I go with them. But 3 years seems like a long time. I could have stalked her, but I figured if I stalked her, she might, she may never come back.
Like run away.
Right. So,
Well, guys,
it's like fishing.
It's always like fishing. So now we are going to make sure, Juan Pablo, if you can split the screen. I need to see all the talent and the producers together so we can start our questions with press. Thank you so much. You see how nice it looks like? Hey, we love you guys. We do everything for you.
Randy,
so now,
good day.
Hi.
So now we have a question.
Hey, Jeff.
I want to let you know something. We have a show called Aberto pa Compras. That would mean open for sale. That's a local format in Brazil with local talent. And one of the talents, called Sergio Longo Jr., has a question for you guys. So let's start with Sergio Longo from Brazil. Sergio, we are ready for you. Sergio Longo, o apresentador do Aberto para Compras do Brasil.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, sorry my bad English. I'm a little nervous to talk with you guys because I'm right now on the road. And when I heard about the opportunity to go with you,
Você queria falar em português?
Sorry. Well, it's our first season here in Brazil, and our show starts only 2 weeks ago. And you are inspiration for me. So I'd like to hear some tips. What can we do to reach the success of you guys with 60 seasons? So if you can show some tips.
He would like to know if you can share some tips of how.
Sorry again.
No, don't worry, Sergio. Obrigado. He would like to know if there's any tips that you can share to achieve the success in a hit show for History Channel. What works?
I mean,
characters.
I can let anybody start first. Brandy, go ahead. Tell them something great.
I don't know how we withstood the test of time, but I guess there was some sort of magic formula between the cast. We all it was, they had a spin-offs of our show that didn't last, but for some reason we had some sort of magic between us, and I can't really describe it. But this, gosh, I wish I could. I'm not really sure, all I can say is that I'm sure that we're all pretty grateful. I don't know.
I think what he might have been asking was it
the chemistry for his show to work.
Oh.
Yeah,
I think maybe Laura did cast a spell. She manifested it, in a dream. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I think you hit the nail on the head. I believe that with the right, history and A&E that are so strong behind us and believing in the cast, it allowed all of us just to flourish. And all of us are truly who you see on TV. And I believe that if you have chemistry and that people can banter with each other and
forget that the camera's there,
Yeah.
Sergio.
Yeah, you're going to have hopefully a successful format.
And then whatever pops in your head, let it pop out of your mouth, unless it's horrible.
You gotta have, and you gotta have producers
And then say
like
that too.
Roman. Having Jeff and Roman there that believe in us and allow us to be ourselves and really will kind of like push the envelope a little. They said, you know, what would you do, you know, when you're buying and selling, and just be yourselves. And truthfully, I think it's allowed all of us to show who we are on television without any script, without anything. This is reality, and that's, I believe, what's made it successful.
I thought Sergio was wanting to know what did you think to be a good buyer, to be a successful buyer. That's what I thought he was.
He is there.
What about the producers? What do you think, Jeff and Roman? What do you suggest?
I think it all comes down to characters. I mean, you know, you could, if you had, you know, robots buying and selling auctions, it wouldn't mean anything. It's the fact that it's Dan and Laura selling them, it's Brandy and Kenny and Daryl and everybody else buying them, and the interactions they have, and what they, you know, how they're humans, and people can relate to them, and you can root for them, or you can have your favorite villain or your favorite hero, and you can do it, you know, you can really kind of feel like you're engaged in the show that way. I think that's really helps.
Now, here's
I would
another
say
question.
also.
Sorry.
Okay, great.
Go for it, Jeff.
No, it's okay.
Okay, one of the most famous TV personalities in Argentina, Mirta Legrand, always says that the audience, the public, always renew itself. So it's stories that we have told that not everybody knows. And Laura, we remember the last time that we have a press event that you tell a story about a safe box that was found in one of the storages, that you paid a very nice amount of money for this particular lady, and then you found, when you were able to open the safe box, a huge amount of money. Can you share that experience with us?
Yes, that has been something that I don't think I'll ever forget. And
Probably the best thing maybe
yeah,
ever in the
yeah,
world,
yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Well, just tell them story.
Yes. So we are at an event, and we noticed that, you know, we're doing an event. It's called Car Stars and Rock and Roll. So we were selling cars and doing auctioneering, and a lot of folks wanted to come up and take some photographs with us. And by the end of the evening, you know, we were relaxing and hanging out, and this lady in the audience is coming up, and seems to be shy and timid, but she's stepping forward and coming back, and you can tell by, you know, being a really good, being able to read body
I
language.
thought she wanted a photo.
Yeah.
I thought she was a fan.
And she just wanted to come forward. She's a little nervous. So Danny goes, come on up over here. Oh, she just came right up and tell the story that she said. Jaw drops. Go ahead.
She basically, you know, let me know she didn't want a photo, and she points over to a man that's at a little buddy bar table and says, my husband over there works for a guy that bought a unit from you for $500 right over here. Like she's pointing like over her shoulder.
And I know the sales in the area, and we're in the desert.
And she says, this is like in the Indio area,
Yeah.
right? And so she's talking to Laura and I. She goes, there was a safe inside the unit, and we got somebody to try to open the safe. The first people couldn't open the safe, and I'm listening. And she said the second people opened the safe, found $7.5 million.
She thought, what?
Cash? She goes, yes. And I said, and then she says, and an attorney stepped forward and said, and we'll offer you $600,000 to buy it back. And I'm just can't even believe what she's saying. And then she said, and they settled for $1.2 million. And I said, do you have pictures of this? She goes, yes, I do. I said, would you share them with me? And so anyway, I said, you mean they gave back $6.3 million? And she goes, yes, they did. And I said, wow. So I don't know what the backstory was on that. I don't know if that was like growing Mota out there and you know, like that kind of money, or I don't know what it was. But the people after that happened, we had attorneys, and we had everybody calling us wanting to know about this, and the IRS come down and put two days in a row. They put a business card in my mailbox, and so finally I agreed to meet them, and I talked to my cousin attorney, and she said, tell them whatever you know, and I asked Laura, I said, I don't want to tell them anything, right? And she goes, tell them whatever they want to know. Yeah. So anyway, I go down there without my phone, and I said, man, I wish, to the IRS, I said, I wish they had just sent this to me on airdrop because they said, well, how come that would be? I said, well, that way I wouldn't even know who this lady was, and I couldn't rat her out like I'm doing right now because I promised her I wouldn't tell anybody this. And I asked her if it was okay if I shared it, and she said, yeah, it was okay if I shared it, but she wasn't really planning on me sharing, her information. And so I ended up giving it up and
Yes.
never heard back from anybody. But that was probably the best thing it's ever sold on the planet.
That was a story that we remember. So thank you so much for refreshing our memories. Now we have a singular question from Chile. It's a movie in Netflix called The Killer from David Fincher, where Michael Fassbender is able to go to a storage and found very unique things and criminal things in that particular storage. Have you ever been in a situation that you open a storage that you found things that for legal reasons couldn't make it to air in the show?
Yeah, we found a bomb one time in Montebello.
Yeah.
You could talk to production about that, but they opened up the unit and there was like a pipe bomb in it. So, production is throwing cameras everywhere and they think it's all going to blow up. And the industry said, no, we don't want this stuff on the show. So production and the networks, they were very,
I'm
Careful with
also
that.
very good
Yeah, they
about
were
the
super
language,
careful with that.
and I can tell that Jeff have something that he wants to share with us. So go for it, Jeff.
About the bomb.
Yes, or something else,
It was
weird
wonderful.
in
It
the
was so
stores.
good. They brought in the bomb robot and drove it into the unit. The police did to disarm it, and everything was fine. And it was one of the times I wished we could have aired it. But we found so many weird things that we haven't been there. We do find firearms. We do find drugs. And we do find lots of materials.
I'll say.
I also remember one episode that they found what they believe was dust with the dog tags, and they realized that they were the remains of 2 dogs. You remember that episode?
It was more than 2 dogs.
More than 2.
It was my unit. And it was more than 2 dogs. It was boxes upon boxes of dead critters that that was.
Oh, wow.
And I just didn't even know what to do with it. I kind of felt terrible, but I'm like, I just left them in the office so that if they wanted to come retrieve their lost pets, but it was several remains of different animals.
So let's leave it like that. Now we go, Mariana, to the next question, please.
Yes, Ursula Toro from Tiempo Colombia newspaper.
Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry that I have to use sunglasses, but I just had yesterday an eye surgery, but I couldn't miss this opportunity to meet all of you. So I'm here. My question goes to Brandy. I really want to know what she thinks because she's kind of a social network queen. I want to know what do you think or how do you think that the social networks had influenced the success of your program? Understanding that it can put it on the top or bury it.
Honestly, I the social media, I don't know how it did what it did for me. I honestly just never took it seriously. I don't put anything really personal on there. I just put silly stuff, and I guess it's just part of my personality, and then people just kind of gravitated towards that. I can't describe a formula as to how that happened, but somehow it spiraled. I don't know how much it's benefited the show. I'm not sure, but it's a benefit on any level. You can monetize from it, and then definitely maybe it did keep the show relevant because we were off air for a couple of years, and they chose to bring it back. I don't know.
Can I add to that? Do you mind, Brandy, if I say one thing? I think that you do so well on social media because whether you know it or not, you're like a student of comedy. Over the years, we have laughed and talked about so many movies or things that we've done off camera, and you're just a funny person. I will tell you all, I don't know if you know, but she is really popular on TikTok. Go ahead, feel good about it. She put on one TikTok for this season, and it got 1.7 million views.
Yes,
just one video
correct.
on TikTok. And
oh, really?
And it's because yes, 100%. I forgot to tell you that.
I did not know.
Wow.
Indeed, Brandy is very
You're welcome.
popular on TikTok.
Thank you.
Hopefully you were plugging our brands.
I love it.
So now we have a question from Reforma newspaper. Reforma newspaper would like to know if his connection is not that good, so he sent the question. It's like, this is for Jeff and Roman. How do you know when a season is successful? How do you make every season to look refreshed and brand new?
Well, I'll start. I think first of all, you have to go to a lot of auctions, and these guys they have to jump in with us, and like Brandy said, driving, buying, moving, all that. But from a production perspective, to have a show that goes 15 seasons across 15 years, you need to keep it fresh with new inventive ways to tell the story. And part of that is finding new buyers, finding Kenny, who was working at a storage facility in season 3, I think. Finding Ivy, who was just a big buyer from the high desert that we didn't find until season 4. And continually, and Renee down in San Diego, finding new players for the game to freshen it up, and also sticking with what I call the OGs, the originals. And of course, the foundation of it all is Dan and Laura and American Auctioneers. Without their infrastructure, we couldn't make the show. It's just the way it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. We think the same about you too, and Roman. These guys in production are the very best. You know, there's something sold in the industry about a week ago, and I don't know if anybody heard about it, but 30 master tapes from Death Row Records popped up on a very inexpensive, like a $30 or $50 unit, and he's got 30. And there's several of them that are supposed to be original music by MC Hammer and Death Row Records, stuff that never hit the street. And that's going to be super exciting. We're not going to see it on Storage Wars necessarily, but it's out on the news right now. So everybody kind of follow that. That's pretty good. That's big news.
Yes.
We have more questions. So hold it. Mariana, let's go. Let's do it.
We heard it here.
From Argentina, Gabriel Fresta from Radio Rivadavia.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Bueno, esta pregunta primero es para Brandy. Quería saber, dentro de tantas temporadas, asociaciones, peleas, cosas pueden estar pautadas por la producción, pero ¿has agregado vos a esas asociaciones y a esas peleas, a esas historias que hemos visto a lo largo de todas las temporadas? Y después, para Brandy, Laura y Don, si escucharon el doblaje que se escucha en latino, las voces que nosotros escuchamos en Argentina, ¿y qué les parecen esas voces?
Brandy, you want to start?
I think. What was my contribution?
Yes.
I mean, I basically just, doing the job that I normally do, but trying to put a little humorous, fun spin on it. So to try to make it a little more entertaining. Dawn?
What was my question?
You know what you commented to me was how the auctioneers can keep up
Yes, they're
so
great.
fast and in a foreign language, you know, and in Spanish and speaking and just, you know, just, I mean, incredible.
I enjoy
Yes.
speaking all these languages, and I just speak very
I didn't know you were
Chiquita
so
Espanol.
fluent and so
Of course.
fast.
Muy bueno.
Wow. No, we really love it. And I love how you capture my excitement and essence of, you know, finding what's in those units and the surprise. And I really enjoy it because I can hear it. And you guys got some great voiceovers for us. Thank you.
So everybody knows, para que todo el mundo sepa, tanto Don como Laura y Brandy, nosotros hacemos un cast, we do a casting for the voices, and we want to always try to match your personalities. And I think we hit very close to home. And in case of in case of Dan and Laura, they have been with us also in Mexico and Dominican Republic and other places, and they were able to see themselves. And the first time was very funny, but I think we hit it and we did it right. And we want to try to keep improving every time that we can. So, Mariana, más preguntas, por favor. More questions.
Marco from Isla de Metal, Brazil.
Hi, Mariana. Sorry, I need you 15 minutes, okay? Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, we continue with Jaime Ponce de
15
León.
minutes.
We'll be here.
Jaime Ponce de León from Colombia, Popcorn Cinema.
Vamos.
Hola, creo que ahí estoy ya conectado.
Yes,
Hola.
right.
Sí.
Ahora sí. Hola. Buenas, gracias a todos. Gracias. Pregunta para Brandy especial. Gracias. Pregunta para Brandy. ¿Cómo lograr encontrar cómo tener ese olfato para lograr encontrar una buena bodega e incluso, ¿por qué no también una sorpresa dentro de esa bodega y saber que invirtió bien su dinero? Gracias.
That is clever editing by our friends on the bottom here, Roman and Jeff. It's not easy, honey. It's a lot of units to go through before you find decent items. You know, it's also something that you learn over time. You know what to look for, what not to look for, and try not to spend too much money or lose too much money on something that you have a feeling about. You know, it's not, I mean, it could be luck at first when you first get started, but that luck runs out for sure. It is a gamble. And you definitely learn methods and you learn what to buy and what not to buy over time. You know, it's just it's a numbers game at the end of the day. That's all I can say. I mean, it's there's no real magic to it. It just it's progress, you know.
Trial and error.
Say hi.
Yes. Okay. That's it. Thank you.
That's Cameron.
Now we have a question from Argentina as well. Sebastián Tabani to Brandy. He would like to know, after the pandemic, there is being a continuous recession and high inflation, especially in California. Has that changed the way people buy, sell, and store their things? Has people's habits changed in a way that affect your job or not?
I mean, there's been several factors that have affected our job over time. I mean, the fact that when we started it, it was kind of a secret. You know what I mean? Nobody knew about buying storage units, and then the show aired, and everyone knew, and people were showing up in drones. And inflation, I think, has affected every aspect of everyone's life at this point. I mean, I think a lot of people are putting more things in storage because they're, having to move back in with their parents, or what I mean, things like that. I mean, there's so many factors to inflation that have probably created more people putting stuff in storage, but I don't, or they're probably selling the things that they have that are worth any money at this point to buy, groceries and gasoline. I don't know. paying their gas bill because, that's a commodity and it's gone up exponentially. Inflation sucks right now. It's hard for everybody, and I don't really think that it's made anything better for anyone.
Okay, this question is also from Brazil, from Fernanda Talarico from UOL. She has a bad connection, and she would like to know, Brandy, do you have any regrets of something that you were thinking, like, God, that the storage was for me, and you let it go?
How much time do you have? I have about 1 million of those, I mean, it's one of those things, I would lose a unit and find out that there was something great in it. And then, I had to learn not to take that home and just be like, F it. I didn't get it. The next one's going to be good, because if you dwell on it, it's not going to do anything for you. It's not going to, get you to win that unit. You just got to move on to the next.
Fair enough. Now to Roman or Jeff. El Sol, Mexico, Luis Bandolvinos would like to know how difficult it is to have a hit show with so many seasons, so many episodes on pay TV when you're facing a savage competition from the streaming outlets.
That's a hard. That's a good question. It is difficult.
I mean,
there's so many more places, so many more choices for viewers, and A&E and History and the A&E networks are almost the grandfathers of stuff like this now. I think it's the fans. It's the fans of the show that keep it coming back. We try to do our best to make it fresh and new every time. And sometimes you want the old faithful. You want the comfort, and that's what we try to hold dear and take care of. The core tenets of the show have to remain, and then the fans keep coming back, and I think that's why. But yes, to answer your question, it is very difficult landscape. There's so many more choices, and every year shows get bigger and bigger and harder to match. Roman?
Yeah, I just want to say that
before you go, let me add something to it. Not everybody knows, but one of the things that A&E History and Lifetime do is that we don't have our shows available on streaming or streamers. But in our VOD and linear offer, we have season stacking. So if you are a true fan of one of the shows of history, A&E or Lifetime, you go to VOD and you can see episodes back to back. And no one on the pay TV landscape has more seasons or more episodes of any series than history does. Now go for it, Morgan. Roman. Yes, go for it, Roman.
I was just going to say that that's absolutely a concern about all the streaming options and what Jeff was talking about. But I think for me, I worry even more every week just about making it fresh and trying to do something we haven't done 338 times before. And it's, it's hard because we've told so many stories and we've seen so many kinds of lockers and so many kinds of surprises, or revealed something that ended up being a bust. You've done that so many times, but you got to keep it interesting for people to watch, and that is hard enough. So honestly, I'm focusing on that, and I'm hoping that translates into good enough television that it can compete with the streaming platforms and all that. But Jeff's right. The fans just keep coming and watching, and they've clearly shown that there's a core audience that likes the show year after year, and and has their favorite characters and loves just tuning in and often just getting lost for hours in a hotel room while watching multiple episodes of Storage Wars, old or new. You can't turn it off. It's so great.
Now
Don't know whether to say thank you or I'm sorry.
No, keep going, Dan, please.
He said, go ahead,
No.
keep going.
I was just saying, I have a lot of people, they come up and they just it's like you just said, man, they'll watch it for hours. And I always look at them and I always say, well, thank you, or I'm sorry, I don't know which way to go.
It's a product of bringing families together.
And keeping stuff fresh, Laura and I, we always try to just kind of think of something that's maybe unrelated, but it's relatable. And if we're having like a discussion or a dispute or something, sometimes we'll just wait and we'll just put that on hold until another day, and then we'll just break that out and see how that works. And we're just so thankful that the production they do always bring the fresh step forward, and they're just really good, and they're easy to work with, and they make it fun. It's not like we're going in every time and we're just hating life. It's always fun. It's always good. They're very generous and gracious to us, and we're so thankful to get past this pandemic where we're not going to have to wear a mask anymore. And
you can see our smiles and here we are. And
so we are talking about being relevant. We are also talking about being relatable and character-driven comedy, and being fresh, keep it fresh or refresh. But it's very important also the emotional connection that we establish with our audience. At the end of the day, we are all talking about the fans and how the fans are so important to keep the show running and airing. Now, in that line, we have a question that the ladies especially are going to love. The question comes from Caracas Vibra from Venezuela. And the question is like, hey, you producers, have you ever thought the idea to at least shoot a couple of episodes in Latin America?
We would love to. Roman speaks Spanish.
Sure. Oh, it's fantastic. It'll be great. Yeah.
Boy,
I want to do a co-production with History Channel. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So we can have that conversation after the show, after the press event.
Nice.
Perfect. Now we have another question. The guy from Brazil, now he's in a good connection. The guy who told us he will be back in 15 minutes, he's actually back now from Ilha de Metal. So let's ask a question from Brazil, please.
Hi guys, sorry for my absence. It was with my daughter. Sorry, he was crying. He not like to take a shower. And my question is, which is the item, more freak item that you find in these boxes? That the item that when you find, you surprise. You get a lot of surprise. Not about the value, not about the. It's like when you see the item, you go, wow, I would like to find. What is the item that you get more surprised with them?
Are you saying what would be our the one that we would like to find?
No. Which
No, what you
item,
found. What you already found.
Which item that you have found surprised you the most?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, let me think. Well, I guess the most bizarre that I threw away that I wish I hadn't at this point. There were these old photos of dead people from 1800s. They were black and white photos that like the family would stand around, or it's just a dead body. And I guess this was a commonplace thing that they did then, so that the soul would remain intact. But they honestly were just really creepy, and I held on to them for a bit, and I didn't realize that they were worth quite a bit of money, and they were very collectible. But I just didn't want to have those in my house, so I threw them away.
Make a new.
Unfortunately, I found out that those were worth a substantial amount of money, after the fact.
Oh, wow.
So that was bad, right?
That was a good one.
It was a great one. Now, muito obrigado por eso. Agora temos outra pergunta do
Gracias.
Claudino do Alberto de Compras. Now we have the question from Claudino, another host of Alberto de Compras, the show that we has launched in Brazil. Claudino, você está pronto?
A new show.
Claudino, você está pronto?
Olá, estou pronto. Eu quero fazer uma pergunta para a Brandy.
Tá.
Alô, estão me ouvindo?
Sim, fala, por favor.
Posso falar? Então, a minha pergunta vai para a Brandy e eu gostaria de saber se ela tem uma loja física, aonde fica essa loja física e se ela gosta mais de comprar ou de vender.
Honestly, I prefer the buying, but I don't have a store anymore. Bozak and I have a a storage unit that we both just put stuff in, and there's a bunch of shit in my or stuff in my garage. Sorry, that you know, you know, that I try to keep as organized as possible, but you know, it does take over every once in a while. The selling can be fun, but it is definitely more difficult not to have a brick and mortar to sell your items. You know, but I also don't miss the overhead and the headaches of having that store. It is a bit easier to just, you know, sell it at my leisure and when I need to and how I'd like to, without dealing with employees and leases and, you know, all of that other drama that comes with owning a business. So, you know, I sell it, you know, on websites or, you know, Bozak and I find little outlets to sell things.
Brandy, now we have a question from Mexico, from Mildred Ayala. The question is very simple. Which was the thing that was not nice, was almost ridiculous, but you make the most money with it?
Not nice, but ridiculous.
Maybe
for the
ridiculous.
most money.
And you unexpectedly were making a lot of money with it.
You know, there was a lot of bizarre things over time that I didn't assume would make a lot of money. I mean, that horse head that I found in the beginning, that was pretty ridiculous, and that was worth a substantial amount of money. Geez, I've just found a lot of odd things over the years that you know, like Jeff was talking about at the beginning with the chicken glasses. I mean, we have found some strange things over time, you know, that really have come to fruition, that it just you know, gave us some money, which, you know, we got to learn about something weird and also make a couple of bucks off of it, which has been a blessing in itself.
So now, the last question for you, Brandy. Right now, which thing that you found in one of the stores is right now at your home, or maybe even behind you, that you can share with us?
I don't think I kept anything, but these pictures that are behind me, I did an appraisal, and this Dennis, he had a really cool shop, and he did a couple of appraisals for us over time, and he had these are original photos of Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin and Marilyn Monroe, and you know, I admired them, and he gave them to me, and they're kind of amazing, and I don't think I'd ever sell them, even though they're probably worth quite a bit at this point because they are original photos. But he framed them and gave them to me, and it was these are my favorite thing.
So now we are about to say goodbye. The farewell is coming. So Brandy, please remind your fans why they have to watch Storage Wars Season 15.
I mean, why wouldn't you watch? It's going to be amazing, you guys. You know, we've got some interesting characters this year. You know, Lisa's back. She's great. She's super funny. We've got the new couple. We've got, Renee and Daryl and whatever. Kenny and I are there, and Ben and Laura, as usual, just doing their best. They kick ass. It's going to be a great season. There's a lot of funny moments and a lot of really amazing finds. You can't miss it.
Thank you. Now, Laura, as always, you're going to be cheerful and happy to recommend us. And then Dan, in his speedy, fast way language, he will also invite people to watch Storage Wars Season 15. Laura, you go first.
I love it. This season, you're going to want to get out there yourselves and buy and become a super storage warrior. This is going to be fun. You're going to find items. You're going to cry along. You're going to laugh. You're going to sweat. You're going to smell these units. These are going to be fun things. And folks, don't forget to pay the lady, because yes, I get out there and I make some money this time myself. So I have selling units and making big dough. So my husband lets me kind of take the mic a little bit, and it's a fun time.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, 25, but 37, 50, 62, to have a bit of 100% sure that if you check out season 15 of Quién, you're gonna love it. You're gonna tune in, tell a friend, and thank you.
And that's right, watching, folks. And don't forget to pay the lady.
Thank you so much, guys. Well, Roman, lo puedes hacer en español o lo puedes hacer en inglés. It's about time that you can say some Spanish words, Roman.
No, gracias. No hay nada para decir. Pero mucho gusto que nos invitaron y estamos muy felices.
Muchas gracias, Roman. Jeff, any final words?
Did you say he has a big cat in his pants?
I hope so. No final words. We're just so excited to do this. So excited to be here. Thank you so much. We're excited for all of Latin America to see season 15 of Storage Wars, and we can't wait to keep making more. We want to come down there. Next time would really, really enjoy seeing you all in person. So yeah, bring us.
Yeah,
we can do that. So thank you so much. Let me see all the guys at the same time, please. Dan and Laura, what's the name of your dog? We want to know.
This is Louie.
Perfect.
Yep, this is Lou. He's the one that bit my finger off. I'm not flipping you off. He bit my finger right off. I love him.
Brandy, where's Luna? Luna's with you?
Oh, she got tired of my shit, so she took off.
Well, thank you so much, Brandy. Thank you so much, Laura, Dan, Jeff, and Roman. Thank you so much. Gracias a todos por acompañarnos hoy, tanto Brasil, Argentina, México, Chile, Perú y todos los demás países que están con nosotros. Y nos reunimos muy pronto para más shows, más estrenos y más información de A&E History Lifetime. Gracias a todos y no se olviden de ver la nueva temporada de Quién da más, temporada 15. Gracias y hasta la próxima. Felicidades. Thank you.
Gracias.
Adiós.
God bless you. Thank you, everyone.
Adiós. Gracias.
3, 2, 1, acción.
Muy bien, aquí vamos.
Un depósito con potencia.
Si están listos, comencemos.
Vamos a ver con cuánto empezamos.
$10.
$10.
Hoy voy a seguir mi instinto.
Depósito. Espero que seas bueno o tendremos una conversación.
Los profesionales de las subastas vuelven a History. ¿Quién da más? Por History Channel.